Hello and welcome. Just getting set up. We will get started in a few moments. Good morning, Shanae. How are you? How's this lighting? Is this good? Been a long week. Indeed, it has. It has. Okay, excellent. I have to use the light now that I'm not using my phone because my camera on my computer is kind of dark. Well, I bought a webcam and it's a little better. Well, it's a lot better than the one on my actual computer, but it still needs light because the light in my dining room is where I am. It's not very um, bright. Good morning, Alejandra. How are you? How was your week? I'm doing well, thank you. Doing well, doing well. It's like there's a piece of hair hanging down. I'll have to worry about that later. All right. Week has been busy learning how to sew. Oh, very nice. What are you sewing? I haven't sewn anything in a while. I haven't had time to sew. Um, a dress. Very nice. You should send me some pictures. Awesome. All right, who else is on? Don't be shy. Say hello. No one else want to say hello? All right, well, my clock says noon, so we'll go ahead and pray. I'm looking for my dog. I just want to make sure I'm not scooting. Oh, I guess he moved. Lord, we come before your presence, asking that you would speak to us individually. We ask for the power that is necessary to follow you completely wherever you go. Help us, Lord. Be with us as we review our lesson for the week. Help us to make these lessons practical and to be in harmony with your will and your ways. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So today we're going to be covering chapters 44 and 45. And our first chapter, did I say 44? 54. Sorry, I think I said 44. 54 and 55 is what we will be covering today. And they're not too long, so we should be able to get some pretty good discussion in and get through them with no problem. Chapter 54, Teachers and Parents in Partnership. Need for a sympathetic understanding. The teachers in the home and the teachers in the school should have a sympathetic understanding of one another's work. They should labor together harmoniously, imbued with the same missionary spirit, striving together to benefit the children physically, mentally, and spiritually, and to develop characters that will stand the test of temptation. Parents should remember that much more will be accomplished by the work of the church school if they themselves realize the advantage that their children will obtain in such a school and unite wholeheartedly with the teacher. By prayer, by patience, by forbearance, parents can undo much of the wrong caused by impatience and wise indulgence. Let parents and teacher take hold of the work together. The parents remembering that they themselves will be helped by the presence in the community of an earnest, God-fearing teacher. So I'm frozen? Oh no. Is anyone else got me frozen? Can anyone else let me know if I'm frozen on their end? It's good on your side, Alejandra? I was, but it's okay now. All right. Okay. So, as I was reading that, I forgot. Okay. I forgot about an announcement that I was going to make. So I spoke with Miss Ortiz, I believe it's her last name, from the Remnant Preparatory School because there was some discussion on the email group about the school. And she sent me some brochures and some newsletters from the school. So for those who are interested in checking out the Remnant Preparatory School, this school is an option for those who you've chosen to homeschool, you are interested in true education, but you just need some help along the way. This school uses the Sunlight curriculum, and so this might be an option for some of you. There are some in our group that have their children in the Remnant Preparatory School. It is an online school, and so check out the email that I sent. If you have any questions, you can contact Miss Ortiz, and she will get you any other information that you might need. So just wanted to put that out there. I know there were some questions. I'm not able to really answer any questions because I don't know that much about the school in terms of details of how it works. I do plan to be kind of doing some work with them, but at this point, I don't have enough information to answer any questions. So if you guys are interested in using their services or learning more about what services they offer, then please contact Miss Ortiz, or I guess you could just contact the school. She's the person that I talk to because I'm familiar with her because we've done a little bit of work together. So just wanted to put that out there that you guys can reach out to Miss Ortiz for any questions that you have. All right. All right. So let's talk about this now. One thing that in this very first paragraph, when it says they should labor together harmoniously, imbued with the same missionary spirit. So let's talk about that. So this harmony is also similar to the same harmony that we have been counseled should be seen in the development of our children, that their powers should be harmoniously developed. And then it lists them here, right? Physically, mentally, and spiritually. So a lot of times we focus on one area. So we want our children to be brilliant. We want them to know their ABCs. We want them to read. We want them to know math. We want them to know science. We want them to know all these facts. And so we spend all this time learning. And I have talked to parents who, I'm talking about for little children, their children are spending 5 or 6 hours a day doing schoolwork. No, we don't want to do that. We want to learn how to learn as we go, right? So every single thing that we do is an opportunity for education. And so we don't have to be sitting at the dining room table or in the schoolroom, wherever we have our school time, in order to learn. That is the Greek method, the Egyptian method. That is not the method of true education. And so we want to make sure that we are working in each of these lines, that our children might be balanced, that we might be balanced, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting in exercise, that there is some physical labor going on. In the Moore method, you do academics, that's in one scale, and then service and work. So you balance the amount of service and work that you do with the amount of schoolwork that you do, and they should be about equal. So you do 4 hours of schoolwork, then you should be doing 4 hours combined of work and service. And so this helps us to be balanced and not just focus heavily on one area to the neglect of the others. Also, this word missionary spirit, what does that mean? What do missionaries do? They serve. They are concerned about the salvation of those that they are working with. But any good missionary is not going to be worried about the salvation only, right? So people on the street are hungry. Praying for them is not going to help them. Like, they need a sandwich. They need some fruit. They need something to eat. And not that we shouldn't pray for them, but we need to do more than pray. We need to be involved in service and considering the needs of others, instead of just praying for them. We want to be balanced. We want to live a life of action. And then it gives us in the second paragraph some words: prayer, patience, forbearance. By these three, parents can undo much of the wrong caused by impatience and unwise indulgence. So I thought this was so important, because here we talk about, how wrong we've done it, right? We haven't known the counsel. Either we haven't known it, or maybe we knew it, but we didn't know how to live it. We didn't know how to make it practical, right? So we read this book and we're like, oh, that sounds really good. Now, how do you do that, right? I mean, it sounds great, but my children don't listen when I'm nice to them. So we want to seek to undo that which we have done, either through neglect or ignorance, whatever the reason might be. And we have the promise, the encouragement, that much of what we have done can be undone through prayer, patience, and forbearance. And I wrote here that forbearance is self-control and abstaining from the enforcement of a right? So as the parent, you could throw your weight around. You could force your children to do things that they don't want to do. You could do that, but that is not the government of God. The government of God rules through love, and God woos us to Him through His love. And so that's what we want to do to our children. We want to woo them to our side. We want to love them, not excuse me, not just in a way that the mother naturally loves her children, or the father naturally loves his children, but in the way that God loves. And that love is not natural to the human heart. And so this is a love that we have to learn, that we have to spend time with God to learn a new way. All right. Now we go to disunion. Now, one other thing that I think is really important is that, so this specific chapter is talking about teachers, like that's the title, right? Teachers and parents in partnership. But certainly these principles are not limited to teachers. It could also be true for the parent relationship, parent to parent, right? It could be true of the parent and the Sabbath school teacher at church. It could be the parent and the pastor. These counsels, this counsel listed in these chapters is not limited to the teacher-parent relationship. So we want to see this as principles of learning how to work harmoniously, really with all those who come in contact with our children, right? So it says here at the bottom of the page, disunion may nullify a good influence. And it says, unless parents are ready and anxious to cooperate with the teacher for the salvation of their children, they are not prepared to have a school among them. Wow, how sad. And I think I shared with you guys how this is actually happening where I live. It's very likely that our school will close because there is disunion between the parents and the teachers, and it's a very sad situation. But God is saying that if there is disunity, then you're not even ready to have a school. And so we're praying that some kind of solution can be found, and that there could be harmony in the school. But honestly, it's just really not looking good. And so just seeing firsthand how this disunion can really wreak havoc and become a problem. So please pray for our church school. Pray for the parents who would love to send their children to the school, but choose not to because the principles of God are not being upheld. And so we pray that we can get some leaders, some teachers who are willing to uphold the principles of God, that our children might be taught after His ways. All right. At the top, it talks about teamwork begins in the home. Now, this kind of goes to what I was saying before, right? So this cooperation is not just among parents and teachers, but this cooperation actually starts with the parents themselves. In the training of their children, they, the parents, have a joint responsibility, and it should be their constant endeavor to act together. So I wrote in the margin here, the church is made up of families. So many of the issues that we see today are a direct result of the disintegration of the family. And we see that, right? The disintegration of marriages, the disintegration of families. We see, we live in a world today where, people are not sure if they're male or female. I've been thinking about that. So lately, I was just out, was that yesterday, sometime this week, and like I've never thought so much, wow, is that a man or a woman? Like I'm not sure. And it just seems like it happens more and more that I'm just not really sure if I'm dealing with a male or a female. And so, now I can say excuse me. Like I don't say excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, sir, because I'm just not sure. What do you say if you're not sure? So it's just strange times that we live in. Who would have ever thought that there would come a day where people wondered if they were a man or a woman, or don't want to be either. Yeah. Okay. So we live in strange times. At the bottom of this section, it says, if parents are so engrossed in the business and pleasures of this life that they neglect the proper discipline of their children, the work of the teacher is not only made very hard and trying, but often rendered wholly fruitless. So if the parents are not doing at home what they should, then what is the teacher supposed to do with your child? Because you aren't able to do anything with your child. So this work is to begin at home so that the teacher's job, not that the teacher won't have a job, but the teacher won't be working against, right, in cross purposes with the parents. And I also thought about how you can be at home and just really not engage, right? So you're under the same roof. You might even be passing, as you go through the living areas, but you're not really engaged. And so we don't want to be so caught up in day-to-day life, whether it's chores, work, whatever it might be. I know we live in a time where we're all busy, right? We got stuff to do for church. And it just doesn't seem like there's enough time to get everything done. But we don't want to be so busy that we are neglecting the discipline of our children and really neglecting spending time with them and getting to know them. All right. The teacher's work is supplemental. The teacher's work should supplement that of the parents, but it is not to take its place. In all that concerns the well-being of the child, it should be the efforts of parents and teachers to cooperate. Guilty of being home but not engaged. Isn't it so easy, Priscilla, that you're at home and you just think that you're just really doing something because you're home with your children, and you just might as well not even be there because you're just doing who knows what you're doing, but you're not doing what you stayed home to do, right? And so God help us to be more engaged, more purposeful about getting things done. Good morning, Bridget. How are you? All right. In the home, the child is to be taught the importance of neatness, order, and thoroughness. So this is really key because this is actually one of those things that helps me to know that I'm getting off track because my room is a mess. Just things are just not in order. And another one, I just went to Walmart this morning and I bought a pack of socks because I was going to the gym this morning and I was looking for a pair of socks. And I'm just like, where are my socks? And so for me, not being able to find my socks is an indication that things are just out of order. It's like, where are the socks? I don't know. I don't know where they are. And I know I just bought a pair of socks like not too long ago, like a pack of like 6 or 8. There might have been 10 in there. I don't know. But like, I'm like, okay, Where are my socks? I don't know where they are. And so when we thrive in neatness and order and thoroughness, it helps in so many ways, right? One, because how we think in our mind is reflected in our surroundings, right? So when you're messy and you leave stuff everywhere and you don't remember where you put stuff and you're just kind of disconnected from reality, like that's a sign that there's a disconnection in the brain. And sometimes these disconnections happen because maybe there's issues in your life you don't want to deal with because they're painful. Maybe you're stressed because you have a lot of things going on. There's, several things it could be, but neatness, order, and thoroughness, they're kind of the outside things, if you will, that kind of help to get the inside together. So you kind of want to work from both ends, right? So you want to be right inside. You want your mind to be right, but part of the way that you can do that is to work on neatness and order. So we want to be very aware of our surroundings. And just when you go into a room, does somebody know you've been in there because you leave a mess? You know what I mean? Like, do you have that child that you know that's the child that was in there because they left a mess on the floor, they had a snack and they left it on the table, and you're just when I was growing up, I have twin brothers, and my one brother, he was very clumsy, and he would something would get knocked over, and my aunt would yell, "Who did it, Jason?" Because she just knew if the juice got knocked over, it was probably Jason. He doesn't even remember that now, but it's just, he was the one that was known for knocking things over or leaving a little mess. So, all right. Let's go down here. The watchful teacher will find many opportunities for directing pupils to acts of helpfulness. So this could be you're out at the grocery store, you direct your child to hold the door open for someone that might be coming in. You're in the parking lot, you see someone struggling, trying to get something into their car. Maybe they need to take the buggy and put it back. So you send your child over there, hey, go get the buggy and take that back for them. Just little things. Someone's coming into church, they've got, 5 bags in their hands. You can send your little one to go and grab a bag. So you're looking for ways to teach them to be helpful, things that don't cost any money, but you teach them to be helpful and kind, and really to pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to the countenance of people. Are they struggling? Do they look depressed? Like, what's going on with people? And then you learn to kind of minister to their needs, and you don't even have to know what's going on with them. You can just speak a kind word. Hey, it's so nice to see you today. How are you? And this can help people to open up. It can help to make them feel loved. And then we're teaching our young ones, our little ones, to really kind of look outside of themselves and minister to the needs of others. Parents whose hearts are filled with with the love of Christ, will refrain from finding faults and will do all in their power to encourage and help the one whom they have chosen as a teacher for their children. So this is another one of those thoughts that's not just for teachers. This is Christianity in general. We're going to refrain from finding fault with others. We're going to refrain from murmuring and just having negative things to say. So you guys already know what I'm about to say. Here's the plug for the gratitude journal. Because when you're concentrating on what you're for, you're just not going to have time to be complaining about everything. So I have one of my clients. I think I told you guys that I have um, two clients that I'm working with on a regular basis. Really three, but two that I talk to. One that I talk to pretty much every week. And one of the assignments that I gave her was to begin a gratitude journal. And she was to report back in a few days to let me know how it was going. Um, and she was ashamed of how, she was like, I'm so ashamed of how hard it was for me to think of things I was grateful for. And I was like, I know, right? Because you've gotten in the habit of just everything is wrong.